What's going on, guys? I'm Alex with New Tech. How you doing? Today we are going to be reviewing the Pixel Slate, the Google Pixel Slate, and I know a lot of you guys are very excited to see this review and have been asking for it. And I have a lot to talk about in this. As usual, I'm really a big fan of Chromebooks, and I've been using a lot of it, and every single year, there's one or two Chromebooks that really excite me, and the Pixel Slate was supposed to be one of them, and I have a lot of thoughts that I'm going to jump into right now. So first off, the model we have here is the Intel Core M3 model. So this is the second lowest end model in terms of pricing. That is, the lowest configuration is an Intel Celeron processor. So one thing that I'm just going to get right off the bat right now, before we even talk about anything else, is the pricing, right? The pricing of the Celeron processor is $599. That's the starting price of it. Not cheap at all. That's a very expensive price point for an Intel Celeron processor. I get the whole thing about the build quality. The build quality is good. However, the Intel Celeron processor you can get for a significantly cheaper price on a Chromebook or Windows laptop. And that's always been one of those things that anti-premium Chromebook people argue about. I see them in comments all the time. People are like, why the hell are you going to buy a $1,000 Chromebook or $600 Chromebook when you can get one for $200 that does basically the exact same thing? And I've always argued against that. Like, the Pixel Book came with the i5 processor, and it was actually a very fast computer, much faster than some of the lower end Chromebooks. So I have always been a proponent on premium Chromebooks if the specs back that up. And so I felt like the Core M3, okay, you may be able to get away with about like $800 for that processor, which is what the listing price is. Even though you can get something for like $500 with the Core M3. However, you can't get something for $200 with the Core M3. You can with the Celeron. So that's why I think the Celeron was absolutely mispriced. That's why I decided to get this Pixel Slate with the Core M3 instead of the Celeron. So it's the second lowest configuration, because in my own way, I could justify, okay, the Core M3 for $799, it's a little expensive, but it's the Google tax for a really nice, smooth Google experience, kind of like what I had on the Pixel Book last year. So I justified it like that. But regardless of that, performance on this is what I expected. It was very smooth when operating on Chrome OS and also with Android apps, for the ones I used at least. Most of it was better, improved from the Pixel Book. Most of that is because Chrome OS has continued to evolve, and the Android apps on there have been performing better over the years. It's a gradual improvement as things get more optimized. And this year, for sure, I've noticed that the Pixel Slate runs Android apps pretty nicely. My frustration previously on previous devices running Android apps, I really didn't have that. There really wasn't too many apps out there that I was just like pulling my hair out. I didn't have that. Whereas back in the old days on the Chromebook 13G1 from HP, I had that problem. Even on the Chromebook Flip, I used to, some of the apps drove me crazy. Now, as for the RAM, 8 gigabytes of RAM, I think is plenty. I don't think you need the 16 gigabyte configuration. You can say, oh, I'm future proofing for when Windows comes out on it. But I do think 8 gigabytes of RAM is still plenty, even when Windows comes out. I might bite my words on that when it does come out and we kind of experience it for the first time. But I do feel 8 gigabytes of RAM is sufficient enough, at least for this type of Chromebook right now. But the thing is, 64 gigabytes of storage is not a lot, and there's no micro SD expansion here. So when you're running Android apps or like photo editing, this is the problem that we have with these two-in-one devices, right? When they're starting to try to take over the laptop space and make it your one and only laptop, you kind of have to have that storage options. All right, moving down the line, we're just going to keep taking a look at different parts of this device. The screen. This is a 12.3-inch, 3000 by 2000 pixel screen, and it's a 3 by 2 aspect ratio screen, which I feel like modern laptops and tablets all should really migrate towards. It makes the reading experience, browsing experience really nice. The only downfall, of course, is watching 16 by 9 movies. You get really added black bars, but I still feel like this is the superior aspect ratio. That's an opinion, of course, but I have started to notice a trend. A lot of companies are gravitating towards that squarish aspect ratio. And I do really like it, especially when you're using it in tablet mode, holding it in your hand like that. It does feel really nice. So I do think this screen is a terrific screen. I really enjoy using it, playing games, watching movies, even browsing the internet, reading comic books and things like that. It's just, it's a delight to use. So I do feel like it's a very, very solid screen here. Now, another issue I have with the Google Pixel Slate is the keyboard, right? So the keyboard is like the Microsoft Surfaces, additional purchase. It doesn't come included. It doesn't come bundled with the device, and it's a $200 accessory that you have to purchase from Google themselves. And this year's add-on keyboard is not my favorite thing in the world. And okay, let's just jump back to this, right? So a month ago, I featured a video on the Bridge keyboard. So Bridge is a accessory maker. They made a keyboard specifically for the Google Pixel Slate, and I put that on the Pixel Slate, and I said this made the Pixel Slate so much better. And a lot of people watched that video and kind of just nitpicked or took certain words that I said and kind of misinterpreted what I meant. So I did say that I liked the typing experience on Google's keyboard, and I like the rounded keys. I felt like it's a better build quality than the Bridge one. The Bridge keyboard has a bit of a mushy feel to it, and I didn't really like the keys as much as I liked it on the official Google one. However, people seem to ignore the other part of what I said, which is regardless of that fact, the ergonomics of that form factor were so much more superior than the Google experience that it just makes the experience so much better on the Bridge with the Bridge keyboard than on the Google keyboard. And what I'm talking about is the way that the Pixel Slate is mounted onto these keyboards. So the Pixel Slate with the official Google keyboard has this magnetic mount. It's something that we've seen in other devices before. It's not uncommon, these magnetic mounts. What I don't like is the folio aspect of this, because folio keyboards are flimsy in a lot of different situations, putting it on your lap. For example, the other day, I was in the car in the passenger seat while someone was driving. We were on our way to our meeting, and I was trying to answer some emails. And this brings another aspect of the Pixel Slate that I really do like, and most Chromebooks are getting this now, which is the ability to have that instant tethering to your Pixel phone. So if you're using like the Pixel Book or like the Pixel Slate and you have a Pixel 3 or a Pixel 2, you can automatically connect to your hotspot without even setting up your hotspot because it's instantly tethered together. You have a setting that you set up, and then the minute that you open up your Chromebook, it should link up to the internet. So you don't need an LTE Chromebook anymore or laptop because Google has this software integrated together, and it works sometimes. It's not the best thing in the world yet, but it is a game changer, and I'm looking forward to the improvement on that. So I've been trying to use my laptop in the car, especially this Pixel Slate, more often when I'm trying to get work done because, time's of essence. Hardest thing in the world. The car is rocking. LA traffic, stop and go traffic in LA. Of course, for those of you guys who live in LA, you know what I'm talking about. Your laptop's going to sway, right? Because of this folio flimsiness, the way it's propped up in a certain angle or just the way it's rested on your knees, there's no way you can work like that. It's so difficult. Whereas like the Pixel Book, I used to work in my car all the time while someone's driving, getting emails done or typing up articles, no problem. Pixel Book was a traditional laptop style that folded back. So that functionality is okay. Even something like the Pixel C, which is an Android tablet. I've featured this on the channel as well. This is a design from Google a few years back that I absolutely adore. It's a magnetic holder, and I actually recently used that again on one of my shoots. And it was so portable, and I was actually really surprised at how durable it was in multiple situations. I could be holding it and typing it in my hands, and it would balance on my palm, no problem. I could do it on my lap when I'm sitting in the car, as I mentioned before. I can't do any of that with the Pixel Slate. And that ruins the flexibility of having a 2-in-1 when you can't use it in a majority of situations. You have to set it on a table for it to be fully balanced, fully optimized without the keys bouncing left and right when you're moving it, or trackpad. You can't use a trackpad on your lap. You really can. It's swaying so much. Any little movement kind of makes it unbalanced. So that is one of the major issues I've had with this version of the Pixel Slate, which is the keyboard. I hate the keyboard design. So please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that this is a bad typing experience. I'm saying the ergonomics of this functionality is not good at all. And there's superior options out there that Google should have taken, like the Pixel C, which they did design themselves, that are much better in terms of what they could have done. And when it comes to 2-in-1 devices, these things are very important. Mobility, functionality in different scenarios. It's not only going to sit on your table. That's not what a 2-in-1 device should do. So I feel like they missed the mark there for sure. Also, speaking of the Bridge keyboard, I want to disclose too, even though I said it's a better experience with that than the official Google keyboard, I did return the Bridge one. And once again, we're not sponsored by anybody. If we're sponsored, we would tell you in the video, we'd disclaim it. None of these videos are sponsored. So I'm going to tell you guys the good and the bad, like I've always done. And whether you appreciate that or not, that's how we're going to operate. So in that Bridge video, I that's what I said. I said the keys were a little mushy. The build probably has some issues. I think out of the factory, some things were warped, and we highlighted that, and I talked about it in the video. So that still doesn't change my opinion that it's a better experience using the Bridge than the Google keyboard, because the ergonomics of it, as I explained, is just much better in that form factor. But nonetheless, I did return the Bridge keyboard because there were some build issues with my warped fingers, and I was reading up some other products out there from Bridge also apparently have those issues. But I did return it, and I have been trying to troop it out with the Google keyboard, the official one. Now, the Pixel Slate also has a fingerprint scanner embedded in the power button, much like what you used to see in the Xperias on the side of the phone. So this is not necessarily the best fingerprint scanner I've used. In fact, it was rough for a while. I've had to reset my fingerprint a few times. I've just never had really good luck with these fingerprint scanners that are so narrow. I've had to tap multiple times just to get it to unlock, and it's locked up on me many times. I've had this problem with the Xperias as well, so it might be me, and I just haven't been able to align my finger in the right position. I've had better luck with round ones. So battery life, I was a little disappointed with. I felt like it should be getting a little more than what I got from it. I got about like 7 to 8 hours of battery life on here, which isn't too bad. Google advertised, I think, about like 10 hours of battery life. But I felt like I put it on a lot of standby time, and the standby just didn't last as long as I wanted to. I felt like the Pixel Book had a longer battery life than the Pixel Slate, at least from the same usage that I've used these devices with. Oh, and by the way, the Pixel Slate charges with a 45-watt charging brick, much like the Acer Chromebook Tab 10. That means you're going to need like a laptop charging brick instead of something like this, which is a traditional smartphone or tablet charging brick. So this is like 5 to 10 watt devices. That's contradictory to me, because in the Acer Chromebook Tab 10 video, I made the same comment. And a lot of people are like, dude, you're looking at this the wrong way. These are tablets, not laptops. And it charges like a laptop, though. You can't have it both ways. And the way I see these Chrome tablets going forward, they're 2-in-1 laptops, not standalone tablets. That's how I feel about it. They should not be treated as standalone tablets. They're not the iPads. They're not the Tab S4 from Samsung. These are Chromebooks that are 2-in-1 detachable devices, much like something like the Surfaces. That's how I view these. So, look, I've mentioned the Pixel Book a lot, and the thing is, they're different devices. I understand that. The Pixel Slate is the vision that Google has going forward of Chrome OS, which is that 2-in-1 tablet detaching thing. And, HP has done the same thing, and we're seeing a lot of that at CES right now. The Chrome OS tablet evolution is where we're going for Chrome OS. And whether that is good or bad, that remains to be seen. Because right now, I still feel like Chrome OS in tablet mode is very flunky. It's not good. It's not what I think Chrome OS should be. And it's weird because I understand Google is aiming that tablet style to schools. And even then, I don't think it's efficient. I don't think that it's an efficient way for the operating system to move, especially when you have all your apps flatlined onto the screen without any way to dock them in tablet mode. And that's a Chrome OS thing, not necessarily just for the Pixel Slate, but I'm talking about Chrome tablets in general. I feel like as of right now, there is no real benefit for Chrome OS tablet, especially when you have limited form factors like what we have with the official Google keyboard on this Pixel Slate. It limits it so much. Whereas something like a traditional Chromebook that can fold all the way back, like the Chromebook Flip or the Google Pixel Book, I could take that out, hold it with one hand, and still work on it. I can put it on my lap and still work on it, as I've mentioned multiple times. Can you do that with this Pixel Slate? Maybe, but it's very difficult, and it'll make your experience really frustrating. Just the form factor. The Folio keyboard is not meant to do something like that. It's not meant to be held in one hand and typed on. It's not meant to be rested on your lap. So there's a lot of things on there on this particular design that I don't like. And there's a lot of trends that I'm seeing at CES that I don't like either. Like the Acer Chromebook tab that came out last year that we reviewed on the channel doesn't ship with any physical keyboard. It's strictly a tablet. And Asus has just announced one, and this is the new thing. People are coming out with more and more tablets. Chrome OS cannot live without a typing mechanism. Not on-screen keyboard, a physical keyboard. I really feel like they need to keep that together, and this is Google's solution for that, the Folio keyboard, and I think it was a miss. I really do. I think it was a miss. I've mentioned this in the unboxing video, but I feel like the Pixel C had the perfect mechanism for that. The form factor and the ergonomics of that device, the magnetic pull was terrific. All they had to do was add a trackpad. Really, I felt like the Pixel C was the perfect solution, the most futuristic solution to any company out there making any of these two-in-ones, including Apple's iPad Pro, including the Surface Pros. I feel like the Pixel C had the perfect design, and they departed from that for something like the iPads. And I really wanted to like it. I really did. And I just can't. I can't back this one here. You know, I was a huge proponent for the Pixel Book, and even for the price point, I was a huge proponent, and I thought it validated the price point. I really did. I was one of the few that did, and I just can't. I can't do that for this one. The Pixel Slate really disappointed me. When I pull out something to use, I want to be excited to use it. I want to be proud of it. I want to pull it down and say, "Yeah, that's my laptop," or "Yeah, I'm using that." I can't really feel that way with the Pixel Slate. The Pixel Book. Oh man, I was so proud to pull it open, use it. I was so happy to use it. The experience was terrific. And when people ask me, wow, you paid $1,000 for Chromebook? I'm like, yeah, I did. With this, the keyboard and the tablet itself combined is like $1,000, almost the same price as the original Pixel Book. I kind of questioned myself on this one. I had no questions about why I would buy a Pixel Book. Once again, I'm Alex of Hypnotech. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Let me know what you guys think of the Pixel Slate and what you expect of Chrome OS from 2019. There's a lot of exciting things coming out, and I'm excited to look at the evolution of this operating system. And I'll see you guys very soon.
If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hit the bell button below so that you don't miss a single video in the future. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!